Hello and welcome to another issue of Schrand Team Connections. Today we've got something rather interesting. School's about to start and we've got something special for those parents and students who may be contemplating a college career in the near future. We've got with us today Ryan Kube. Ryan has a special talent that not many people are aware of, and I think you're going to find this interesting. Ryan, what do you do for the student contemplating college?
When it comes to college today, it's more expensive than it ever has been, and kids are running into some debt problems and financial problems for the parents. So what I help people do is kind of find the best path for the student and the most efficient way to pay for it, and try to save them some money and get them out of school as quick as possible so they can have financial security and a good job that they enjoy once they're finished with college.
One of the things I learned from you just in talking, and it surprised me, was sometimes some of the more premier private schools can be less expensive to go to than a public school.
Yeah, I mean, there's different strategies for high, middle, and low income families, but a lower income family that it applies to, a lot of times they don't even look at the more expensive sticker price schools, but those schools usually have a lot more free money to give. So if they qualify for some aid, they might end up getting free money as opposed to loans. And in the end, when you factor up all the numbers, it can actually be cheaper sometimes for some families to go to a private school than it would be to go to a public school and take on loans.
Okay, I'm a parent and I've got a student that's going into the freshman year of her high school. What kind of questions should I be thinking to ask? What kind of things do I need to be looking forward to at this point?
One mistake people make is they kind of think that you have to go to college, and then they don't think about it much further, and they think that the kids are too young to kind of figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life. And you don't have to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, but you do have to figure out what degree you want to buy. And if you kind of do some career exploration and self-assessment during the high school years early on, it takes a little time, it takes some reflection, but you can kind of figure out what field you want to go into and then kind of come up with a game plan that way, as opposed to picking a school and then picking a major and then ending up in a career by chance. Kind of reverse engineer that process, and you're hopefully going to have a lot more success. Okay,
give us kind of a quick rundown of what you go through that first interview with the parent and the student. What kind of things do you cover?
It really depends. A lot of people tend to procrastinate, and so if you're waiting till the junior or senior year, it's not too late, but you're going to have to kind of play a little bit of catch up. So it depends a little bit. It's very unique for each family. The whole college process is like a big puzzle, and kind of what I do is I help people identify their unique pieces and then help put them together in the most efficient manner. But if it was somebody who's younger, freshman year of high school, we would sit down, we'd calculate what their FAFSA form, the FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid, everybody fills that out, basically what the results of that are going to be, what they're looking at, and how much they're going to be able to afford to help their student, and then sort of kind of set some parameters there and go from there. And we don't tell people to, if they aren't able to afford, the parents can't help a lot, we don't want to sell them short and tell them not to look at their dream schools, but we kind of have set them up so they can reach for those dream schools, but also have a plan B in place in case things don't manifest the way that they kind of hoped.
And I understand that even for the more affluent families, there are things available to them that sometimes they overlook because they don't think they have any opportunity of getting a grant or any kind of assistance for their students.
Yeah, absolutely. Families with very high income and assets can sometimes do some financial positioning to improve their situation. And a lot of time, higher middle class families sometimes assume they're not going to qualify for any aid, but when you crunch the numbers, families with pretty decent incomes can qualify for some aids if they're going to a more expensive school. So it's really a matter of, what I try to do is I help make people informed consumers. And when it comes to college, people just aren't informed consumers. There's a lot of misinformation and just confusion that comes just from people not really knowing the process and bad information in the media, and also just the fact that it is a big puzzle and you kind of have to know one answer is right for everybody. So if you're listening to your uncle or your neighbor, what they did, it might not really apply to you. So you kind of really have to sort of ignore those things and figure out what's best for your exact situation.
So if this has been interesting or even almost enlightening to some of our viewers because of the fact that they've got students coming up, how would they get in touch with you?
My company is called On Track to College, and we have a website. It's www.ontracktocollege.org, and that's ONTRAK. There's no C in On Track. And we actually have a video library you can subscribe to for $10 a month. And you can actually purchase the My Career Profile from that website as well. And my number is 513-619-2534.
Well, Ryan, it's been enlightening, and I think that some of our parents and even the students are going to be thrilled to have even learned that you exist. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks,
It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Jack. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us for another issue of Schrand Team Connects.